Hello everybody, and welcome back to Evernerds Talks. It's been a long while since the last one. I am back for you guys and my wonderful co-host as well, but let me do a proper introduction than that. I am the wonderful and amazing bow tie wearing, glasses wearing Hydro 5. I am the main OC for the Hydro Cannon 58 YouTube channel, which will be back and active soon. I'm hoping. We're busy, okay? Don't judge us. But anyway, I am your main host for Evernerds podcast, and I have my wonderful, amazing co-host, Mr. Artie Quill. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, everybody. This is Artie Quill, and I'm happy to be here. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I interrupted you.
I am a YouTube artist, voice actor, and I also do covers.
And that's us, the dynamic duo. Not confusing with the other dynamic duo, but
yes.
Let's pretend I didn't say that. Okay, so I hope you guys came here for the wonderful. I'm hoping I put in the title, post production and editing and all that stuff. We are here to talk about the My Little Pony movie that came out this year in 2017. Not to be confused with the old one. There's a new one. Yeah.
There's a new one. Yeah. Finally.
Yeah.
It's about time.
It's been
30 years.
Wow. I didn't realize that till now. So
I think it's over 30 years, but
I
think it might be over.
I gotta say, you probably know more information about the whole franchise than I do. I do my best, but
I love it.
And, I'm not nervous at all. I haven't recorded in a while, so yeah, I'm still pretty new at podcasting, and I think Artie's pretty used to his streams, so he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But of course, we're going to talk about the My Little Pony movie that came out. It's been something that's been planned for a long time. It's not an Equestria Girls movie. It is a legit pony movie with ponies. We promise this time.
Actual ponies.
There's ponies involved, but
and it's funny.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Oh my gosh.
It's funny. It's funny because in every Equestria Girls movie, there seems to be less and less of ponies. The first one had a whole scene with the ponies. The whole beginning of the film was all with ponies. But as the movies went on, there were less and less and less. And then finally, it just exploded with ponies when this movie came out.
And it's something the fandom has been waiting for a long time. By the time when this video or podcast, wherever you're listening to it, it's been out for a while and it's been getting really good reviews, but we are going to give our thoughts on it now.
Yes.
And what makes us so special, Artie, that we're reviewing it? I don't know.
Nothing. We're just a couple guys on the internet.
We're just a couple of bronies.
This is a brony filled area. If anybody is offended, you may want to leave because things are gonna get real.
If not, still watch it anyway, just in case.
Yes, because you're our prisoners now.
Yeah. I mean, disclaimer.
Yes.
Yeah. You signed a contract to listen to. Okay, we're gonna be done with this joke now. Okay, so I gotta say though, I'll be honest. I've watched the movie once, but Mr. Artie Quill here. How many times have you seen it?
4 times.
He saw it 4 times, and I gotta say that's dedication. My own fault is because
I'd watch it.
Well, we're still working on the podcast, and go ahead, Artie.
I'd watch it 400 more. I love this movie.
Oh gosh. All right, so I'm sorry that I'm not as dedicated as you because I have to go. The guy who makes the video and edits it has to go to work and go to school all the time. That's why nothing has been made in a while. So, what was I talking? Oh, right. So I saw it once and it was still awesome. I usually watch a lot of movies and I can always see the predictability in movies. So that's why I don't watch too often. But we're not going to go into my backstory. We're going to talk about the movie. So I'm going to take it to you, Artie, to talk about what we're going to be talking about.
Wow. Well, a couple things that I'd like to talk about in the movie as far as these different categories go is animation, music, characters, and plot. I feel like those were the things that are most important for any movie. And Yeah, let's get started, and let's talk about the animation first. Hydro, what were your thoughts on it?
Can I make a small detail that annoyed me a lot with the movie?
I think I already know what it is, but yes, go ahead and share.
I don't know. Did I tell? I don't know if I told you, but
You told me.
I, the eyes.
Yep.
Why?
The
Why?
eyes.
Why more shining? I make. I have to make OCs of myself with the eyes for hours to get it right. And then the movie's like, we're gonna add more, and I'm gonna be like, I'm not making a movie
More
version of
and
myself with
more
this.
and more.
I got annoyed, and it's weird because it's mainly the main six that has the shininess in their
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like,
Celestia and Luna, they're fine. They got
oh yeah.
regular shining in their eyes. I'm not talking about shining armor, but whatever. But still, why is it just
It's a side effect of using the elements of harmony for all these years, is that you get sparkles permanently engraved in your eyes.
really?
Their eyes turn white when they use the elements of harmony. This is just the aftermath of that.
This is what you get when you go Super Saiyan.
Exactly. It stays with you forever.
Yeah, it's the side effects. They didn't tell us that would be
I should know.
in the contract. Oh, all right. So that's the biggest thing that got me annoyed with the animation was that, and trying to be not trying to be continuity side. I am of course an editor, and I look at every detail as much as I can with movies and how they can be going from one shot to the next. And the
Right.
animation in this was pretty smooth, and I loved
Oh
everything
yeah.
about it. You can barely see a lot of the transitions, and that I always notice was that.
Yeah. And like when I saw the trailer for it, I got very, very, very nervous when I saw the CGI backgrounds, like the airship and stuff like that. But seeing it in the movie, I noticed that they didn't use the same clip. They polished it up. It looked a lot better when the actual film came out. Um, things seemed to blend in a little more than things blended in better than I thought, because here's the thing that I have to praise this movie for, the thing that I loved the most about it. Oh my gosh, it's not a 3D animated film. It's our first movie since 2009 with The Princess and the Frog, the first major motion picture worldwide release film that is actually a 2D animated film.
And it looks so smooth.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was great.
Now, there were some things that I've noticed that weren't exactly perfect in the editing, not in the animation, but in some of the editing. There are a couple of transition scenes where it would go from one scene to the next that I thought kind of lasted a little long. Like there's a part in the beginning. I hope I'm not giving out too much spoilers about this, but there's a part in the beginning where the main six get chased off of a waterfall, and they're okay, except what happens is as the camera pans down to the waterfall, the transition is probably 4 or 5, probably actually 6 minutes, 6 seconds long before it shows as it fades to the next shot. That wasn't too much of a problem. I just thought it was a little bit of a long transition, but I'm just nitpicking at this point. I can't really blame this movie for animation nearly at all. It was just really great.
I gotta say, like I said before, the transitions you barely see it.
Mm.
As an editor, that's something like I said, I see it before. Yeah, I agree. Everything was smooth. Animation was smooth. The order of things was good. Because the movie was pretty much put up into different sections where it starts in Equestria and then, this town outside. I don't remember the towns. What were the towns?
Oh, I think it's called Clugget Town. I think it was something like Clugget Town. Clugget? Clugget?
Klugate. It's KLUGETOWN. Cluj Town. I don't know. I spelled it. If you guys figure it out. So
Honestly.
it went from there, and then the Kingdom of the Hippogriffs, which I.
Oh yeah, it's actually called Sequestria.
Okay, and
I'm not even kidding.
of course I'll put in the beginning of this. There's some spoilers, but anyway. So
Yeah.
it also has the undersea city under that. I don't
Oh
understand
yeah.
how that works. Where's the city and the king? I didn't. I
It's
just
kind of
noticed
like,
that.
okay, okay, you remember the movie Moana, right? How there's a scene in Moana where they go to the top of this mountain and then it opens from the top and they go down deep into the ocean. Maybe it's something kind of like that.
Anyway, I
Okay,
think we're going a little too far off. Well, you were.
yeah,
This is
sorry.
still the animation part. What was the next part?
Oh, the animation. Music was actually something else I wanted to talk about. Is I loved the score, not just the songs, but the actual score of the film, like the music that plays through it. It makes the film seem so big, like because Daniel Ingram's actually had access to a real orchestra in this film, and it just came out as beautiful. I liked every song of this film. Okay, actually, that's a lie.
How many?
Um,
How many would you say is your top three?
my top three songs had to be "Time to Be Awesome," "Time to Be Awesome," "One Small Thing," and "Open Up Your Eyes." That was my favorite song in the movie.
Okay. Here's a. I'm gonna say my down low on this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
never a giant fan of the songs of the show, and oh my gosh, gasp! I mean, yeah. I mean,
Disubscribe. I disubscribe.
I'm sorry. I am not a song guy. I have some I like, and of course, a lot of people do great remixes from the show with the songs. And I gotta say what you said with Daniel Ingram. He did a great job with many of the soundtracks, but I liked maybe 2 of the 13 songs in this movie. Oh
What
my
were your
gosh, there were 13 songs in this movie. Gosh, I mean, here's the problem I thought was weird. No, it's not weird. This is just my own personal nitpick. It's not really a problem. The song, as soon as the song is end, there's at least maybe a few scenes and there's another song. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
this movie did it. There are other movies that done it. I just don't like that. That annoys
Yeah.
me. I don't want to listen to songs in the movie. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
That's
Just
okay.
unsubscribe now. I will understand. But they sounded beautiful. They sounded fun. I'm
Yeah.
just not a song guy. There I like well, I got the list of them here. We Got This Together was one that they kept saying "You Got This," which seems like a callback to one of the camp counselors in one of the Equestria Girl movies, which I feel every person has made a joke about.
I got
And
this.
I got this, which like you got this. You know someone's gonna reference that. And I like the song that was sung. That's Tempest sung.
Oh, open up your eyes. That
Uh,
was that was the song.
I oh okay. Oh yeah, here I see it here, and it sounded amazing. And it was sung by her,
Oh yeah.
the actor herself.
Emily
Sung it.
Blunt.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I did like the ending song. I think mainly because Starlight Glimmer was part of the credits for it. But
Oh,
I'm
Off
not.
to See the World?
Yeah.
That one was good.
And I gotta say that I can tell they did a lot of hard work. And do you have anything else you wanted to add with the music?
Yes, a lot actually.
Let's not spend
um
an hour on music, please. But
there okay, I'm gonna say the song that I least like from the movie actually. It was the opening song, the We Got the Beat song, where it was a remix of They Got the Beat.
oh, that was in the beginning of the movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, right, as it first shows Equestria. I think that seemed a little forced, like to get a song that everybody knows into the movie. That just
Let's not forget it's a movie, but for little girls, 8-year-old girls, maybe
I
not
know.
for the adults. So,
But
yeah.
but even with that said, they could have just made a reorchestrated version of the MLP theme song to play as they go through. Even if it's just an instrumental, just having the music from the MLP theme song going as they are as the camera pans through Canterlot.
Are we gonna go over settings? Can I go over settings too?
Sure thing, sure thing.
When is
Yeah.
that? When is that?
I'm just gonna finish one last thing about the songs, and I'm come off real quickly. I'm sorry, I just need to. The songs were one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Okay, go on, go on.
Um, the the songs, what I liked about it is that the songs made the film seem so much bigger. Like, Tempest song, "Open Up Your Eyes." I mean, the kettle drum in that, the use of the violins in that song made it um really made Tempest um seem menacing. And the thing that I liked most about that song is that it's a type of villain song that we don't usually get nowadays. It's not a villain song where they're singing about their evil plan. It's not a villain song where they're singing about their revenge. It's a villain song where the villain is trying to get the hero to understand them. And I like that type. That type of villain songs really help build characters for the villains. Just because they're the bad guys doesn't mean we have to hate them.
Every villain thinks they're the good guy in the story.
Exactly.
That's what a lot of people say. That's how you make a good story, is that the villain doesn't see themselves as the villain. They see themselves as the one trying to save it in the hard way. But
Absolutely.
I would save it for characters, but I'm just gonna say real quick is that Tempest is not a villain to me. I think she was more of the antagonist. Of
Yeah.
course, that's how it really should be said. The villain really was Storm King,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and we'll get more into that when we get to characters. So, what's
Yeah.
are we on to the next part?
Well, you wanted to talk about settings.
Settings. Oh my gosh! As long as you make, I will be fine with the sparkle, the extra sparkle in the eyes for the main six. But the settings are amazing. They are good. They are clear. They are crisp. What
The
am I
what?
I'm not talking about food. Okay. I love the settings. I love how
Oh.
Canterlot looks.
Oh
Some
yeah.
people think it's a bit smaller than it's supposed to be, but it's the movie version. They always do
Yeah.
that. They have to make it so for the movie. So that's passable. But of course, seeing the other places, which we mentioned earlier, were amazing
Yeah.
as well, for a chance to see different locations other than Equestria. That yes,
Absolutely.
there are other sentient beings on the planet that we saw for 2 seconds on the movie. I think
Right.
we saw a globe of the movie. I think.
Here's something that I loved about the settings in this film. Is I'm not sure if you can. I don't know if you can count this an actual setting though, but it was the first thing that popped to me. Is in the first like first 5 seconds of the film when it shows the MLP logo in the very beginning, the main title, as the spark of magic is flying through it, and the music starts to build up as it's going by. It just hyped me so much to see the rest of the film. It got me so excited to watch it. That's a cool way of showing a main title. Um, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you can count that as settings
Well,
though.
if you got a strong opening, then that's a good start. But just as long as you get a good follow up, which
Right.
of course was great, of course, because they ended up with the we got this beat version that you were talking about earlier. But yeah,
And here's something else that I loved about the settings in the movie in general. All of the settings is that a lot of the settings are not what you would expect if you were somebody new coming to watching a My Little Pony movie. There are some dark settings. There are some scenes with dark colors, like the whole city in the desert looked like something out of Mad Max. I'm not even joking. The whole thing looked like that. Like, and
have you saw? I know a Disney movie to compare it to.
uh,
Not Treasure Planet. No, I don't know what I'm thinking about. But I don't know. It's like I think I'm thinking of an anime. It's like it looks
well,
like from another movie.
Planet also works. It reminded me of the spaceport from Treasure Planet.
But it's not a desert though.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah, but
problem.
like,
I know a desert area that would match this, but I don't know
oh, I'm
what it
trying to
is.
think.
I don't know. I could be thinking of an anime. There are a lot of animes that use deserts.
Yeah,
It was definitely the right tone. I like that, at least with comparing it to the main six. The main six you can tell they're powerful. They are bright, colorful
yeah.
ponies from a different land. You can pretty much tell compared to the desert setting.
There's even a scene where the character Capper, which is first furry confirmed in MLP. Um, there's a scene where when he tries to, well, quote unquote,
Yeah.
help the main six, and he says, "Everybody, stay back. They are infect. No, look at these colors. Do you think that's normal? They're infected with Pastelis coloratus. I laughed so hard when I heard that because like the fact that even other characters from their own universe thinks that that's unnormal to have to be those type of colors.
Man, this world is huge. I mean, seriously, the settings, just seeing these other locations just points out how you thought Equestria was big. Now you know for sure that there's so much more to this planet.
Absolutely.
A lot of characters,
Exactly.
a lot of countries, some of which doesn't seem to be as organized as Equestria, which is surprising.
Right.
But it just make it. The other thing is that these locations make it look like the people in them too. No, they don't recognize what Equestria is and what's involved.
Mm,
And like I have an example with the Storm King, because
yeah.
it's and Tempest too. Like they don't realize that we've had powerful villains in this show, and they've been
Yeah.
taken down by the same main six. So
And here's something that I noticed about the film that about well, it was I guess you can call it part of the settings. Actually, you know what? I'll save this for plot. Actually, I'll save this for the plot. But as far as the settings go, there was like this one scene, um, where the main six get into a fight, which I'll talk to that about that later. But they're on this beach, and the sky is dark, the waves are crashing, and a really it's a really dark moment, and I like the setting in that scene. It shows that not everything in Equestria is either is bright and shiny. It shows that it makes it feel like much more of a real place.
oh, okay. Wow, we went in a lot with the settings.
Well, it was a good part of the movie.
Yeah, that's the big part, like going to different places and how I gotta say bravo to the animators and
Oh
to the
yeah.
people. I bet from the storyboards to the artboard to the people who have to make these things alive on their computers
Uh-huh.
in studios. I gotta say, you did a great job, guys. You I you did great. I applaud you. Thank you. I'm not being sarcastic. I really mean it. I seriously mean
This
it. You
was this
guys
was a
did great.
really great. This was really well animated. The whole movie looked beautiful. That that was that was amazing.
All right, so I feel like we're kind of making it a
Long.
little slow. So let's go
Yeah.
down to the next part. What is next?
Let's talk about characters.
All right, characters.
And boy, are there
Can I
characters.
say a few things about characters? I feel like I'm the guy who's
Yes.
pointing out the bad stuff. Because I already have something.
Oh, it's okay.
All
That's
right,
why I'm here.
all right, main six. We'll save them for last. Can I save them? Can we save them for
Yeah,
last?
we'll
Because
save them for
we've seen
last.
them all the time. Let's talk about the new characters.
Oh my goodness. Okay, okay. We have a total of, let me see here. Storm King. We have Storm King. Mind if I name them out?
Go ahead.
All right, we have Storm King, Tempest, Skystar, Capper. We get characters. Well, those are basically the four. Oh no, Captain Selena and her crew.
Oh, I want to go
Those.
into that real quick when we get to
Oh
it.
yes. So we have a total of five new major characters, not counting like background
And
characters like
shipping began
yes,
before even started. And
yes.
yeah. Oh my gosh, you cannot believe all the Tempest Twilight shipping I keep
Oh
finding.
my gosh.
And it's just wow. I get they had odd looks at the end of the movie, but come
But
on
it was
guys.
come on. There's a difference between
Can't one thing not be shipped? Like
yeah. Look, just think about this for a moment. So I'm
calm
sorry.
down.
I just
Take a deep
I
breath.
lost. Whew.
Train of thought
You
gone.
shouldn't ship anyone if they just look at each other. They have to say that, hey, I want to be your boyfriend, or I want to be your girlfriend. You don't just ship
All
them
right.
off of a look.
Alright, okay. I think we're through the shipping storms for a bit. Let's go on to
I
can I say my
sorry.
favorite character real
Yes.
quick? My favorite character is Tempest in this movie.
Yes.
She is awesome. I think everybody would agree. Tempest is
I agree.
pretty
I agree.
great character. The antagonist, not a villain, like I said. She had a great story, not predictable. Well, it was more I didn't expect that to be her backstory, but still,
Yeah.
I liked it a lot about her. And what annoys me a little bit is that we never saw her cutie mark once.
Yeah, that I yes, I was just noticing that and I want to know what it is.
But
I,
since her name is, what was her
Berry
name? You know
Berry
it.
Pop. Oh, you want me to say it?
Go ahead.
Fizzle Pop Berry Twist.
You could probably tell what cutie mark is from
I
her
think it's a
name.
I think it's a firework. I honestly think her cutie mark is are well her
That's a good
talent is
point.
probably
That's a good point.
fireworks.
I think so too. So, I don't know. For one thing, it's movie universe. I have to say, it will not be related to the actual story main canon, so we won't know what Tempest will be doing. It's definite they're probably gonna make a sequel one day, but we'll
Oh
see what
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, about Tempest, is it okay if I talk about her backstory? Or do you not want me to put that here?
Uh, Maybe not too long. We have a lot of characters to go through.
Okay, well, let me just say something about her backstory that I found that was just interesting. It actually made me emotional. It made me extremely emotional because it because of one small act. I'm not gonna give details of what happened. Because of one small act at such a young age, her life was ruined in her eyes. That was so sad. There are some
Excuse me.
scenes in movies which just make me get to the point of wanting to cry, and that was actually one of them. Was Tempest's backstory. There were actually a total of two of those scenes in this movie for me, actually. Um, I'll get to the second. I'll
Although
get to
it
the
does
second.
make me question, how does she? Because she was a child that was traumatized and got well, of course you're not going to go into details, but
Yeah,
what happened between that time and then began feeding the Storm King? And yeah,
yeah.
I can understand movie wise they can't go into much detail with that, but
I
I
believe there's a
mean,
comic. I believe.
yeah, there's a prequel comic which I have not read myself. But I bet that will explain a lot. So, but if
Uh,
you're gonna be watching a movie, you're not gonna spend time reading a comic. I don't know. I know a
yeah.
lot of dedicated fans might do that, especially the comic readers. So I don't know. It's a good and it doesn't really matter.
Hmm. Yeah. Another character that was amazing in this film, which is probably my second favorite
Next
character,
character. We're going to next character. What we got?
Captain Seleno. I loved Captain Seleno.
Oh, well, I know she's not the furry, but she's the bird
She's
thing
the bird. I
pirate.
like.
That's a terrible description. She is an awesome bird pirate
She is an amazing
who's
bird pirate.
bipedal too. There, what is the rules of bipedals in this world?
I don't know.
Because that's not fair. Only the ponies are not. Whatever. She Captain Selena. What was her name
Oh,
again?
Seleno. Oh my
Selena.
gosh. Okay, she was awesome in the entire film. Her whole crew is cool. I mean, the idea of parrot pirates in an airship with a crystal leg.
I thought it was an emerald.
Well, oh yeah, it was an emerald
It's
actually.
emerald because
Because
Spike
Spike
tried to
was
eat it at the end
yeah,
of the
Spike
movie.
tried to eat.
But can I'm gonna point out. Wait, what was great about her? Let's not talk about the bad first. What was great about her? She was a pirate, and she helped a lot with the taking back the kingdom. She did
Oh yeah,
great. Here's my problem with her: is how did a pirate suddenly get forced to work for the Storm? Okay, I'm
I
pointing
know.
out plot points in this movie. I am so curious with that as well, cause they made it look like something was taken away from her that would stop her becoming and her crew stop being pirates to force to be work for the Storm King. What happened? I'm sure there's a comic for it, but I want to know right now.
I need to know how exactly that happened as well. I mean, because as soon as a bunch of strangers go on their ship, they decide, oh, okay, maybe we can be pirates after all. I mean, okay, I feel as if like Rainbow Dash helped them get their mojo back in the movie, and their fear of the Storm King just kind of vanished.
Yeah, it was pretty. Well, I got as an editor. I'm not in hydro mode. I'm in
Uh,
my editor mode. So movie wise, yeah, it makes sense. We're like, yeah, let's introduce a new character, give her some story, and give her interaction with the main six. Next character. Uh, yeah, that's basically kind of why, because they have their celebrity voice actors. Of course, they can't make them have long roles because they have to
mhm.
keep paying them a lot of money to be there. I mean, the guy who was the Storm King, leave Shrub, that guy that I
Yeah,
know who
that
was
guy.
in Wolverine Origins, hiss on that movie, but I know he's in other awesome stuff, but that's the only one that I'm. Oh, he was in that movie with Angelina Jolie, but whatever. Um, he's really. I could tell he could. You have to pay him a lot of money. So that's why you didn't see the Storm King that much
Yeah, I noticed that.
because, yeah, a lot of money for him to be there. So, but he was in the movie. You can count that. So
Yeah.
it makes sense for the other characters why they don't all actually. Princess Skystar, was more of a voice in the
Yeah.
movie, really, and I don't know Kristen Chano with that
Oh, I
well.
do.
I don't know her in anything right now. I feel like you do, but
She.
you go on with the next characters. I kind of took over for a minute.
No, no, it's okay. It's okay. Well, Skystar is actually voiced. The voice actress that plays her is actually Glinda the Good Witch from the play Wicked, and
The play or the
well,
movie?
not the play, the
Oh,
musical.
the play. Oh, I've never. Oh shoot! I should. I feel terrible whenever I say it. I have not seen Wicked. It
I've
looks
never seen it
amazing.
either. I
I
just listen to the music.
Okay, we're gonna go see Wicked as soon as we get
Yes,
as soon
yes, we're
as we
gonna have to
can.
see it.
All right, so go on about Princess
Um,
Skystar.
Skystar was a fun character. I mean, she was a very quirky, well, very quirky. She had a few screws loose, but she was a very quirky, fun character, and definitely, and like it was, it's basically what Skystar is the perfect friend for Pinkie Pie. They got along so well. Their personalities are very similar.
I think that was. Oh, we're forgetting Caper. He was
Oh,
like the Capper. I'm sorry. I'm like
Caper
Caper, Capper, Caper,
sounds
Capper.
delicious.
That furry cat that everyone loves. I gotta say, um, cool dude. He was a cool, cool cat. Oh my gosh,
He's a cool
he was
cat.
physically. I'm like that. He was the first character they met for. He was a cat, who is a con artist and has a what was top friendship. Oh my gosh, friendship
Oh
is all
yeah.
over this movie. But still, he was. I love his character. He redeemed himself, of course, very well, and
Oh yeah.
I love the voice actor who did this character, Ty Diggs. I'm
I think
terrible
it's
with names.
I think it's Tay.
Tay,
I think it's pronounced Tay. I'm not sure.
and he did great. I feel like there's probably a lot of fan art of him everywhere in the furry. They can finally say that the furries can be with the bronies for sure now, but you can say that much now. But I like this character a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Capper
And
was great.
well, actually, my favorite of the celebrity voice actors was Tempest and
Oh yeah.
uh, why am I
Skystar.
Skystar? Gosh,
Yeah.
and
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
and that was all I had to say. Go on.
Well, okay. Now we let's talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to new characters. The Storm King. I really
What Storm
wanted to
King? He
like
was
the
there for
Storm
like a
King.
few scenes.
I know. I saw pictures of him. I got so hyped about the Storm King. I should have known that since a big voice act, like a really big voice actor, was playing him, that we would see him less. But that's no excuse.
Let me
Not
ask.
only,
Let me ask you this: did it feel like he was put in at the last minute? What did
it
it look
did.
like? Tempest was going to be the villain, really? I
Yeah.
feel like that's what happened. And then they got Lee Schreiber in, and they thought, okay, we need a new character, and that's
I.
what pretty much happened.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. His character design was awesome.
Yes.
He looks like he was a character that was well thought out, but they just didn't have time at the very end. It's almost as if like something happened at the end, like they had more of a story for him, and they just never really gave him his full potential.
Yeah,
Because
they didn't like it look like he doesn't know what he's doing.
I
Like
know,
he's just
I mean,
there.
there are some villains. There are some villains in stories such as Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and even Bionicle, where the main villain is not really in the story very often, but they're spoken of throughout the entire story. They build up the anticipation of the villain, like in Lord of the Rings. Through the whole movie, Sauron is trapped inside the ring, or he's at the tower.
Never see Sauron.
You never see him, but you know he's a very powerful villain because of what happens.
Ooh, he's
But
bad. He's there. He saw him
he's
one
there.
scene in the beginning of the movie and never see him again. So
But it works better with Sauron than it does with Storm King, because with Sauron we 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 get more build up for the character. I mean, heck, even Sombra, even Sombra was a better villain than Storm King in my
yeah,
thoughts.
you gotta admit, Sombra looking much better than the Storm King. Gosh, wow, that was hard to say. Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
and it's too bad because I love the design for Storm King. Having a villain that's a Yeti, that is awesome. And not just a villain that's a Yeti, but a villain that okay, here's something that I've noticed. He didn't exactly do it. Actually, it was Tempest that did it. Actually, you know what? Let's save that for story. Now that I think about it, we'll save that for story, which should be the last. Which would probably be the last
All right,
thing.
so let's talk about the main six real quick since we kind of
Yes.
saved them for last. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's blah 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 blah. That's my
Blah
words.
blah blah
Okay.
blah blah blah.
I think all of the characters were great. All of
Yeah,
them did played the role that they were always playing. The voice actors were
absolutely.
phenomenal, of course.
Oh yeah.
Of course, Princess Twilight was really more of the focus of the whole thing, like it usually is. But I don't have a problem with it. It's Tara Strong. You can't ignore her.
Oh yeah. She's great.
And I did not really have any problems with it. You would say there was a portion of the story where it seemed like Twilight Sparkle was basically not acting like herself in a few scenes, but
Uh
there
huh.
are many who really defend that she was doing something like how she should be. My problem with it is that it's very repetitive that they've done this before. They did it
Right.
in the show maybe like three times, and then they do it again in this movie, and sure, okay. But
Hmm.
other than that, all the main six were great. They did exactly what I wanted them to do for the movie. Rainbow Dash was awesome. Uh, well,
Applejack was honest,
Applejack was honest, but
sassy.
actually, you know what? Since you mentioned Applejack, uh, that part where she said, "I wasn't raised in a barn. I was born in a barn. We have a barn, and
That's where I spent most of my early years.
then pretty much she just says, "Oh shoot, I was raised in the barn." And then Rainbow Dash is in the background.
Raised
It's
in a
like, "You were
barn.
raised in a barn."
That was great. That was awesome. Like the jokes there were a lot of really good jokes in this movie. Like I noticed that there were a lot of Hasbro jokes scattered throughout this film. Like a lot of them. Like like Pinkie Pie's cannon, she called it her Easy Bake Confetti Cake Cannon, which is of course a reference to Easy Bake Ovens from Hasbro.
Hasbro.
Um
Oh, there
the,
was a Transformer sound in the movie.
yes, there was a Transformer sound when the box turned into a amplifier.
When Grubber was like, that was Grubber announcing this Tempest, and
Yeah.
there was a Transformer sound in the movie. Oh gosh, I bet no one noticed that.
And let's not forget the Hungry Hungry Hippos um, reference as well in there, where they had to find the quote unquote queen of the hippos, and Pinkie Pie says, "I heard they're actually really graceful for their size, but they're always hungry. Hungry hippos."
Okay, yeah, I remember that now. Oh, gosh, Hasbro, you clever writers, stop being clever. Okay, so,
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
wow.
Now, you ready to get into story?
Yes, I think we're good for story. What happened in this movie exactly now that we're at the story? What is the plot? What happened?
Well, basically, it's pretty simple. It's something that usually happens in a lot of the finale episodes of NLP. It's a normal day in Equestria. Everything's doing great. They're getting ready for their friendship festival. When the villain comes down, takes over everything. And by the way, let me just say this real quickly: Tempest was able to do what every villain of Equestria has spent thousands of years plotting in a matter of 3 minutes.
And what would that be?
Taking over Equestria.
Oh my gosh! Someone actually took over Equestria.
This is the first time that Equestria wasn't. It wasn't a threat to Equestria. A threat might be a problem. They actually took over Equestria, enslaving everyone.
And let's point out, not with magic, or like how it was kind of magic, but it was more technology, which was interesting because it was just airships, and basically once your huge princess of the sun and moon and love are gone, apparently everyone must panic. And where are the guards?
The guards.
Oh my
Where's
God.
Shining Armor?
Where is Shining Armor? He's at the Crystal Kingdom.
The four princesses get frozen in stone in the beginning of the film. Three. And
Derpy
I'm like,
took it for the
oh
team.
god, I saw Luna.
Wasn't it odd when Derpy took over? Like she got captured to have Twilight. I didn't know it was Derpy. I could not tell. That's my fault, and I'm gonna shut up now. Okay.
The only way I was able to tell it was Derpy because I saw her running, looking up at the what's it called? Oh, the orb as it came flying down at her, and she looks. You can see her in the corner of the screen running into view, just in time to push Twilight out of the way. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Derpy is the hero. Derpy, hands down, Derpy saved Equestria. If she didn't push Twilight out of the way, all the princesses would have been.
All hail Derpy!
Derpy!
You all must hail Derpy. She is your savior.
She's the savior of Equestria. I mean, and here's something I noticed in that whole scene when they took over Canterlot, is that it was played so well. At first, we get, Grubber comes up, does his little comic relief. You think, oh, maybe it's not that bad, and then Tempest comes out, who is the most intimidating villain I think we've ever had in the show. Well, not villain, antagonist. She's, in my opinion, the most intimidating antagonist we've had. She comes out, and you can see she's playing the princesses like a flute. She's playing them, letting them have their fun until she comes in and she takes over the country in 3 minutes.
Well, are you saying? I don't know, because they took over Canterlot. You didn't really see them expand from there. I gotta say that. Yeah, they took over Canterlot more than all of Equestria. But they did take down. It'd be like if you were in our country of this place called USA. I don't know what it's about, but and they took over the whole government.
Washington. They took over Washington D.C.
It would take them so long to go over the whole country. So, but they took over the main leaders, so they pretty much did take over in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a rebellion was starting up. We just didn't see it. That would be an awesome movie. I would love to see.
That'd be cool.
Let's continue with the plot. I'll take over from here if you don't mind.
Sure thing.
So after what happens with the takeover of Canterlot, I know my names. They of course the main six. After what Twilight heard from Celestia to Luna was that you must go to the Queen of the Hippo, and of course she did not say the rest of it. And Twilight assumed it was the hippos. So this leads. Well, of course she said to go south. So. After escaping,
go south beyond the. I almost said Pride Lands. Go south beyond the Badlands.
Oh wow, there's a Lion King reference in there. That is a Lion King reference.
Seek help from the Queen of the Hippo. God.
How do you not think it's the hippogriffs? How did you think it was the hippos? I'm sorry, that bothered me. Like as soon as she said hippo, I thought hippogriffs, isn't it? It's hippogriffs. And
I heard hippogriffs.
Every time they said hippos, it's hippogriffs. It's hippogriffs. And I keep thinking about Silverquill and how much he was super excited about it. And then he released this video, because he does a thing where he does his reaction, not showing the movie of the,
Yeah.
and he was pretty. He wasn't. I bet he expected people for him to be super excited. I bet he was. He just didn't want to look. He just wanted to keep his cool, keep his cover, and how it went down, and in his
Yeah,
review.
I watched that video and I was like, okay, here comes the hippogriff scene. He's gonna freak out. Oh wait, where's the freak out?
There's no freak out. I was just like, okay, maybe he'll do a review and he'll do a freak out.
It's like dropping a rock into the water and not
But
hearing a splash.
I'm glad for once that we know that the hippogriffs. We're going too far ahead.
Yeah.
After knowing about the hippos, they are on an adventure to find the hippos, who end up to be the hippogriffs, is what they meant. So, they go to 3 different places. We pretty much covered that already, and they met people on the way, which is beneficial to the end of the movie. And
Yeah.
they get up to the kingdom of the hippogriffs, which is abandoned. And
Yeah.
but I don't know. Should we go over what really happens? They find sea ponies. We're not gonna say who they were before, but they found sea ponies. Sea ponies are in the movie. Can I?
Shooby doo, shooby doo.
They're not those sea ponies. I mean, so I just wanted to point out the sea ponies and the pirates. Oddly enough, I had a comic. Oh my gosh, Gas, he has a comic. I had the My Little Pony comic, which had the Doctor Who's on the cover. That's why I wanted it originally. But apparently it was about the pirate adventure that they went on, and I did not know that was about that. And I gotta say, this pirate comic reminded me the comics of the pirates in this movie. I felt like that was a homage to that. And the sea ponies were a homage to the same comic because it had sea ponies in it.
It was like the whole movie was based off that one comic, and then you just add very.
Does it seem like they're getting some ideas from the comics? Because the comics going. Maybe we're gonna have an evil universe with evil Luna and evil Celestia, because I know those exist.
Where Sombra's the good guy.
Yes,
I read that comic. Well,
and
yeah, I've read most of it.
That's the next movie. I guarantee it. That's the next movie, Artie. I called you Marty. Whatever.
Morty, it's gonna be okay. But here's the thing. I've noticed that, but well, actually, I was about to go on about the show, but let's get back to the movie. There's a scene in the movie. Or wait, do you want me to take over from here, or do you want?
No, you pretty much took over. You're good to go.
I'm sorry. So after they go to see the sea, after they see the sea ponies, some stuff happens, and this is where Twilight tries to take something. She does something. She tries to steal something from the sea ponies. I won't go into too much detail, but she tries to steal something from the sea ponies, and it breaks their trust with the main 6, and Twilight gets into a fight with the main 6, and this is obviously in the film the scene that got me to the point of wanting to cry. There's a scene where Twilight and Pinkie Pie get into a fight, and Twilight tells Pinkie Pie, maybe I would be better off without friends like you. And this, knowing what they've gone through, knowing all the adventures that they've been on, seeing every episode of the show, seeing how well Twilight and Pinkie and all the others get along together, and hearing that coming from Twilight's voice broke my heart. I'm not even kidding. And Pinkie Pie's reaction was even sadder. She just couldn't talk to Twilight. She just walked off. It was a really sad scene of the movie.
Man, don't make me cry.
I know.
And then I thought, oh my gosh, there's gonna be some kind of thing where they overcome it with friendship, and I'm too predictable and I'm a terrible person. But I gotta say, it was that was a sad scene, and yes, but of course in the end that does help rekindle their friendship later on in the movie. After a lot of events happen. We're gonna skip some spoilers.
Yeah.
And basically, we're back at Canterlot. We're taking it over. We're fighting back, and everyone that they met was there, and they came in a giant cake.
Yes, the giant cake.
They had a cake. It was basically a Trojan cake, which kind of backfired. And a fight ensues. I'm really going through the details, and I really want to go to the part where Fluttershy didn't fight, but talked feelings with her enemy, and that was amazing. And I like that happened. It's good to
Do you
know.
want to talk about
Do
it?
you want to? I like that guards aren't just guards. They have feelings too, They need a
Yeah.
job. They're just there to do their job. Don't think they're evil. The Storm King's the evil guy because he wants to be. He even said,
Right.
"I'm the evil guy."
The poor guy that Fluttershy was counseling was probably kicked out of his parents' house, gone through 4 jobs, and no one would hire him because people are always so biased toward Yetis.
Yeah. Bad grunts have feelings too. Come on.
Yeah, grunts have feelings. Grunts have families. So does Sing Healy.
Wow. Oh, I hope I didn't have any feedback from my microphone. I was like really moving my hands when I did that. All right, and we get to the big climax. There was a lot of climaxes in this movie. To be honest, this was just the final climax. I said that too many times. The confrontation with the Storm King, who has the power of all the princesses, and is basically in control of all weather and sun and moon and I guess friendship.
I don't know.
Technically, that's what that's supposed to do with Twilight.
That should have been like a weakness. That
And
should have been
love
like a
as well?
weakness. Yeah, that should have been a funny weakness. Like he gets all this power, he's ready to take over, but he just can't because
He's just having fun with the sun and the moon, and that's gonna mess up the calendar like hell.
Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
That was a great scene, by the way. I bet that guy had a lot of fun with that.
Day, night.
And wow. And then of course Tempest comes in realizing that the Storm King did not keep his promise. There was a promise earlier where Tempest was like, you were going to restore my horn, right? Sure, I'll restore your horn when you give me power. All right, here's your power. No, I was lying all along.
It's kind of what I do.
Kind of what I do. Wow. Ooh, who hit their head first when they saw that coming? I did. I was like, oh my gosh, they did the most predictable thing with a villain. This is obviously a terrible villain.
I know.
I'm not saying terrible as in good terrible. I mean, not the best writing for a villain.
But why wouldn't he? Look, why wouldn't he do that? She said that she was if he returned her she said that if he returned her magic, she would devote her life to serving him. Why wouldn't he return her magic?
He's not a loyal guy. But that's the problem, though.
But he's not a smart guy either.
You don't see him enough to really know how he's like, so you kind of went with it. But it was
T-Rex had a better backstory.
And it was really predictable. Oh my gosh, you could have seen that a mile away, and you could have seen he was going to betray you. I don't know. I mean, Tarek, though, you knew him enough how he was with his brother because of the backstory the princess gave him, and he knows that not to trust anybody but himself because his brother betrayed him. But the Storm King saw him like a few scenes, betrayed somebody. It doesn't really hit the same thing.
Storm King is one of the worst types of villains. It's the villain that knows that he's bad, and he's just like, oh, I'm the evil guy. He actually says in the movie that this whole cute thing's not working with my big bad evil guy. He actually said that. Big bad evil guy look that I'm supposed to be giving him.
Wait, did somebody say guy in the movie? No one said pony or any who's, and oh my gosh, revelation, it's a pony thing to say that, whatever.
I noticed Tempest never used the word every pony in the song Open Up Your Eyes. She says, like, it's time you learned your lesson. It's time that you understand. Don't ever count on anybody else in this or any other land. Like, she said, buddy. Humans? Humans? No, probably not.
I think there's a good plot point. She hasn't been in Equestria for a long time, so she's probably not used to saying the pony anachronisms that are said. Anachronism, is that the correct one? Well, whatever
Yeah.
ponies say to say any pony and anybody and all that shenanigans, she's not
Uh,
there, so she's just used.
Pronouns.
She's not used. Okay, pronouns, and she's not used to it, so that's forgiven.
Yeah.
That's understandable, I guess. You can explain it with that, but
Yeah.
no one really, unless you're an analyst. Of course, they're analysts. They'll notice it, but
Yeah.
no, it's a movie. It was
And,
okay. I feel like we're going off topic. Let's get to the really awesome part of where what was I gonna go with this? Go to the last scene with the Storm King. You describe it better than I do.
do you want me to say that part?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what ends up happening is the main six find a way into the castle to help Twilight. Um, all the while, Tempest is starting to see that she's been on the wrong side the whole time, and Twilight, the staff gets knocked out of what's his name, the Storm King's hands, and so Twilight and her friends and the Storm King are both racing to a bunch of debris. The castle almost gets destroyed, and they're racing to a bunch of debris to grab the staff, and in the process, the storm that's caused by the staff sucks both Twilight and Storm King out the window, where we get a a fake out death scene for Twilight.
Okay, so well, basically, you know what's odd? We didn't have a super form in this movie. There was no
yeah, we
super
didn't.
form.
No
Every
super form,
movie and
just
finales,
ponies.
even in the Question Girls movies, there were super forms. This did not have a super form.
They were
Wow,
just ponies.
it was
Yes,
just
and I
ponies.
loved it.
No,
I loved
oh,
that.
that would suck for the toy department. That would be.
Who
well,
cares?
That's-
They have
But that's what makes them get money. But then they had the whatever. There was no super form. It was awesome, and there was this Jesus moment where she's descending to the ground. I sorry. Religious wise, but that's basically what the whole thing was. That she was basically God, and she's descending, and you like bow before me. But no, she's okay, folks. And
she's just returning
the
the
Storm
stick.
King is like,
Can I
and
say
then
this part?
yeah, you go for it.
Oh gosh, this is the part that made my jaw drop in the film. I stayed silent up until the credits after this. So,
Oh, spoilers, everybody.
yes, big spoilers here.
Big spoilers.
Major
here.
spoilers.
Major spoilers. Stop the video if you don't want to know how it ends.
Yes.
Actually, we
So-
pretty much said a lot of it already, but go ahead.
So Twilight comes down, she has the staff and everything's okay. She reunites with her friends, and Tempest is relieved to see that she's all right, and she's about to walk away when she sees that Storm King has clung onto the side of the castle and has the orb that will turn them into stone. And as he throws the orb, Tempest jumps in the way, defending the main six, and takes the hit for the main six. As she's being turned to stone, she falls on top of Storm King, and the effects of the orb spread onto him, and he falls off. Both Tempest and Storm King fall off the side of the castle as Storm King turns into stone before he hits the ground and shatters into a million pieces.
Oh my gosh!
A villain that dies.
There's a death of a children's movie.
A death of a villain, and it's not like Sombra's death where he kind of turned into glass and shattered and disappeared. You see his upper head without his lower jaw resting on the ground with a terrified expression on it. I know it sounds sick coming from me, but it's just so great that they added a little bit of violence.
Like, oh my gosh, he's a dead. Oh, everybody's soon.
And by the way, after it shows his body on the ground, the camera pans up to see that Twilight has actually caught Tempest before she was able to hit the ground. Tempest also was turned to stone, and that was great because
that scene was pretty good.
That was really great
because it was basically I don't exactly remember what happened. I know it was a point where Tempest and Storm King were being cast into stone, and they were at a point where they were both going to go over the edge, and they saved Tempest in time. And I'm going to go into more detail about Tempest's whole story and her arc in the final section, final thoughts section.
Right.
So
and there's sorry, go
ahead. You go next. with that?
There's this line at when she saves Tempest when Rainbow Dash says, "I can't believe she did that," and Twilight's like, "I do," and that was such a sweet moment. Like at that moment, Twilight realized that Tempest was not a bad guy. That she was just someone who was hurt as a child, and that all she really wanted was friendship. She even says in the song that she used to hope for friendship, but she felt as if the terrible thing that happened to her would keep her from doing that, and it was such a heart touching moment. I loved it.
All right, so let's try and wrap up the plot a little bit. Everything was
Yeah,
resolved. The powers were returned to the princesses, and everything was great. And the
Darby was
party,
free.
everyone's back to the party, and it was great. And I did terrible job of describing that. Basically, it went out with a grand finale of a great song in the end. Great mentioning of all the people of what happened to them. Tempest is technically being forgiven again,
Yeah.
like how the formula goes. We forgive those who understand. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. We completely forgot what you did, and I don't know
They
history
weren't
of
gonna
reforming, but
they're not going to kill off they're not going to kill off the character that they just showed as a child 30 minutes before the end of the film. If they're going to show the character as a child, they're not going to kill off
it's their
that same
thing. It's their thing. They're like, yes, we understand. We
uh,
forgive you.
they showed up. Oh, wait a minute. They showed Applejack's parents as kids.
I don't know. Well, I think it's time for the final portion of this wonderful review slash podcast we're having is our final thoughts and conclusions.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. What are your final thoughts and conclusions,
Oh
Mr.
my
Equal?
goodness. Okay, I'm gonna. This may sound extremely biased, and I hope I have a little time to explain why I say this. Um, the movie, in my opinion, is a 10 out of 10, and the reason why I say this is that now I know a lot of people. There are flaws. There are flaws. Every movie's going to have flaws, and I feel as if people nowadays they think that every movie has to be the next Academy Award winner, and every film has to be a big multi-million-dollar franchise like Frozen or Moana or anything from Disney. But I feel like people are losing that a movie could just be fun, and this movie was so fun, and that's why this film is a 10 out of 10 for me. Music, animation, characters, story, it was all great.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh! You pretty much were gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say just almost the same thing. This movie was great. It has faults. Yes, sir. I agree with you completely. Every movie will have its problems. I bet there was more to it they had to cut out, and
Yeah.
some explanation might have been there, but I didn't notice. I think the movie is great. If you're not a brony, I could see it's a nice movie. It's a great for kids. It has lessons. It tells you of friendship. That's the point of a movie. And if
Right.
you're a fan of the show, I think and a lot of people will agree it's a good movie too. A lot
Yeah.
after all the Equestria Girl stuff, some people don't like it because of how different in similar sense where they're doing the same thing again but with humans.
Right.
But but once they see this movie, I think their fears of a terrible movie collection has been put to rest. This has been a
Right.
good movie, and I think it's been great with what it does. And I think it is just phenomenal, and it's just great. I can't give the same thing you gave. I would give it probably an 8.5 out of 10. Because I have to count the flaws and the plot holes. But oh, other than grading it though, I wanted to talk about one thing is that there were
Hmm.
two arcs that were centered in this movie is with Twilight and with Tempest. And I really want to
Hmm.
go a bit more with the Tempest one where it started out great with introducing her. They didn't show too much at the beginning. They showed all the action she can do. They showed how badass she is, how
Oh yeah.
she's a bounty hunter after these criminals. She's after, that's not how I would describe it. She's after these fugitives. She was a great person to introduce, and they didn't put too much into how she was. It flowed correctly. I saw no problem with it. It didn't annoy me. I like Tempest. start, and then excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, I'm sorry. And then
Bless you.
when they explained her backstory, it was amazing. With the different art style too, with the I call them pointy ponies,
Because the
and
hooves.
because the hooves, and I love that form of animation. It is a bit cheaper, and yeah, but still, it works, and I love that too. And then they, of course, when they got to the end, she redeemed herself, knowing that there are people that will accept you for who you are. They will not if they will judge you, then they're not the people you should be with. But you can't accept that everyone will judge you. You got to
Right.
know that you got to give people a chance, and that's what happened with Twilight. She gave Tempest a chance, and then she in turn trust in Twilight to help her in the end with everything because she sacrificed herself and Twilight was able to save her. And I just love how well with the Tempest. Oddly enough, this is done before technically, but not as much as Tempest. I say that with Sunset Shimmer and
Uh-huh.
Starlight Shimmer,
Starlight Glimmer.
Starlight Glimmer. My gosh, how can I ruin my waifu's name? Um, Thank you for adding her into the credits. Thank you very much. That's one thing I just wanted to point out. I love that the whole Tempest thing was great. I felt like she was originally the main antagonist, and I guess something happened. I guess somewhere in the production line they had added a bigger guy because they really made Tempest look like the bad guy for a while, and the Storm King looked like an apprentice, a grunt somewhere. I bet he was someone else at one point, and then in development, the producers were told to make him different or something like that. I think
Hey,
that's what happened.
here's something I have to point out. What's with villains? What's with kings in Equestria being total jerks? Think about that for a moment. The only king character that we have so far that's not a jerk is Thorax.
True, he came out more of he was well. He's not really a villain. He was more of an not
Misunderstood.
misunderstood person, or
He was never a villain. Like he, even when he was part of the Horde, he never followed the others. I mean, he followed mindlessly, but he never enjoyed it.
yeah. And why were we going to this? Why with Thorax?
Oh, we were talking about how all kings in Equestria are jerks except for Thorax.
You know what? Can we question how leadership works in Equestria? We have a queen of the hippogriffs, a kingdom before that, queen of the changelings.
Oh
Why
God,
is there no?
we have our first queen that's not a villain.
Yeah, that's a good point too. But why are there no queens in Equestria? Can someone point this out? No, they're
Lauren
not pointing it
Faust.
out.
Okay.
What did Lauren Faust say?
Well, Lauren Faust actually did talk about that. She said that when she actually did intend for Celestia and Luna to be queens of Equestria until people at Hasbro told her that when people think of queens, they think of the evil queen or like from Snow White. People think that queens are usually associated with bad guys, so they decided that they would be princesses instead, which is kind of ridiculous.
They should just make Twilight the queen. I mean, at this point, they have shown multiple queens. I know there's a Queen Chrysalis, but okay, how about a king or something? Or,
She's been degraded to Miss Chrysalis now because of the season 6 finale.
I haven't seen the finale. Did it come out yet?
Not 7, season 6. The one where you've seen the finale when Starlight, Thorax, Discord, and we talked about that episode. Yeah, that
We
one.
did that. I'm talking about season 7 finale. That has
And
happening.
I haven't seen that one yet either. I'm waiting for the official
We're kind of going
release.
off tangent.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
mean, I was gonna say that the season 7 finale is actually out somewhere online, but I try to avoid it until it comes out. So we
Same
don't know
here.
what's happening before that episode, so we're all good. All right, so I guess that's what our final thoughts were. Oh my gosh, that was a pretty good. I was gonna say that I gotta say that was a big movie, big
Yeah.
chapter in the Hasbro and DHX Media's history, and I hope they'll have more stuff in the future. Oddly
Mhm.
enough, with the Equestria Girls, I'm just going to mention they just mentioned that they're doing a YouTube series with them.
I don't know what to think of that.
Did you know that? There instead of movies, they're going to do. I actually predicted it, and they did it, and I was actually surprised it's on YouTube, not Netflix, not some kind of Hasbro streaming service. YouTube, so it's free
Right.
to
Yeah,
look at. It's
free.
not even YouTube Red. It's free to look at, and it's going to be a series. And I gotta say, Hasbro, you surprised me.
Exactly. There's one last thing I wanted to point out about the movie. I just remembered it right now. Um, this movie is arguably the first the first really good Hasbro film. Think about it. Like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films by Michael Bay were not good. The Transformers movies
By Michael
were
Bay, we're not good.
by like I think
Michael
it's like
Bay's not really helping here.
Battleship is another Hasbro movie by Michael Bay. I mean,
My
Michael
God,
Bay.
stop hiring Michael Bay.
The My Little Pony movie has to be like the first really good Hasbro owned
Well,
film.
yeah, and it's of course, it's a Hasbro film company that helped make the movie
Allspark,
with Allspark and
cleverly named, by the way.
yeah, there wasn't it wasn't just Allspark, it was because
Uh,
this
Lionsgate,
Lionsgate or
and
Line
they're pretty.
they do a lot of movies like this because they did a few book movies from some books and some series. So Lionsgate's a pretty good company, at least once they do work with the source material company.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, like Megan McCarthy, I believe it was Megan McCarthy. I could be wrong, but one of the show writers were one of the main producers. Like the show staff and cast had so much control over this movie. That's why it was able to stay so faithful to the show.
As it should be.
And it was
And I
great.
hope more companies. I hope this does teach a lessons with like how video game movies are not terrible because of their source
Yeah.
material, and how series like these do sometimes make a movie, but sometimes they'll take the source material, but it's not really the same. And
Right.
this movie, the Milo Pony movie, the movie, not to be confused with the first one,
Yeah.
does well with everything it's done and added a lot of things that did well that still made the show like it always was. And I gotta say that I hope more movies learn from this experience.
Right, exactly. I'm hoping that over the next couple of years is where not just Hasbro, but other movies could take at least a little inspiration. I'm not saying that this movie will be a big, I'm not saying that this movie will change the minds of a generation. I'm just saying that I hope that it will inspire people to make better films based off of cartoons, movies. I'm sorry, my dog is barking in the background. Cartoons and stuff like that.
All right, so that was our review for My Little Pony the movie, the 2017 edition of the film.
Woo!
Oh my gosh, that was a long one. I gotta say, it's good to be back, guys. Hopefully, we're gonna have the next Evernerds podcast out soon. I do have one actually ready. I'll tell you what it's about. It's related to Doctor Who, and with a person. We have a guest star, Sweetie Bloom, and that's all I'm gonna say more about that. Hopefully, I can get the everything in the proper schedule. It should be. Actually, another thing I wanted to point out is I wanted to make the audio format to be available for everyone to download. So I will put a link, hopefully in the description. Maybe I'll show it up on the screen, where you'll be able to download the audio versions of these podcasts. And I gotta say that's it. Thank you, Artie, for joining me today for this Evernerds podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I gotta end it here. Thank you very much, guys. I usually say Melodella, but I'm gonna come up with something new, so I gotta say, see you next time, pony fans.
All right, bye.
Bye.